Hiya, I'm Lindsey at LNZPHOTO. So you're planning a wedding and you've perhaps secured your date and booked your venue, and you're now starting to look at photographers. And the next big expense, you want to make sure you book the right one, but you don't quite know what differentiates one photographer from the next. And you don't know what questions to ask. They've said they want a meeting and they want to have a chat to you and find out about your wedding, but you don't know what to ask them. Well, this is my list of top 10 questions you should ask your wedding photographer, because it can be daunting to know what to ask, and if you stand a better chance of being prepared if you have questions. And it will separate the hobbyists from the professionals, and it will also get you a chance to get to know the person who you're talking to in order to kind of click, get that momentum, and then realize that they're the right person to photograph your wedding day. So, question 1 is, do you have insurance? Now, every wedding photographer should have insurance, and not just equipment insurance that secures their gear if they were to drop it or something like that, but also public liability insurance, which covers them in the event of an accident. Now, some venues may ask to see this insurance, in which case you would need to make sure that your photographer does have it. And most photographers should. But obviously, again, this is something that separates the professionals from the hobbyists, because they've paid out for that insurance. It means they care about their business, and you want them to have that. You want them to be covered in case anything were to happen. Obviously, fingers crossed that nothing does, and it shouldn't need to be used, but you want to make sure that you're protected. Okay, so question 2 is, what happens if you're ill on the wedding day? Now, this is a little bit of a question that you might find difficult to ask your wedding photographer, but don't be scared to ask it. They are prepared for this question, or they should be, because it's a valid question. A lot of photographers are one-man bands running their business on their own, and so it's a valid question to ask, what does happen if you're not able to make my wedding day? It's one day. And so you want to make sure that you know the plan and what those measures are going to be in case that photographer cannot attend your wedding. Now, if it were me, I would say that I have a list of backup photographers who I could get in touch with and hopefully find one of them to cover the day. In the unlikely event that I can't make it, I've got a backup list, and someone on there hopefully will be able to do it. So yeah, what happens if you're ill on the day? So question number 3 is, do we need to sign a contract? Now, this question is, again, another really important one, because it is, it's a document that is really, really important, because it covers not only the photographer, but it covers you as well. I've heard so many horror stories of people, and they haven't had contracts, and they haven't had their images delivered, or X, Y, and Z. It doesn't matter. But what matters is that contract is there to protect the both of you. It basically says that we're going to provide a service, and that you're going to get this for what you pay. And essentially, that's all it is. It's making sure that you get the service you paid for. So it's super important. Okay, so question 4. What's included? So that might, again, seem like a strange question. Well, you've seen the price list, you've seen what's included, but you just want to make sure that you know exactly what you're getting for the money that you're putting down. It can be a bit of a shame to work out after the wedding that you thought you had an album and you didn't, for example. So it just pays to be really, really clear, and the right photographer should help you in your quest to be clear, and they should help you to make sure that you are getting the right package for you as well. Okay, so question 5 is, how long does it take to receive our wedding photos? Okay, so this will vary from photographer to photographer, and I've heard all manner of different amounts of weeks that it will take, anywhere from between 2 weeks to 8 weeks. some even longer than that. But ultimately, it's about being aware. So you want to make sure that you know how long after the wedding before you can actually expect to receive your final images. Because let's face it, once the wedding's over, that is the next thing you're going to be looking forward to, is receiving those images. So it's really exciting. So you want to know how long that takes. Me personally, my lead time is 4 weeks. Albums take a bit longer, and that's once we confirm a design. So question 6 is about the album, and is how does the album design process work? So again, this is something that does vary from photographer to photographer. Some will design the album for you, they will choose the images and they will send it to you, and you can make any amendments from there. Some of them will just do it and get it and done it and send it and it's done. And some will let you choose the images. There's all manner of ways of doing it. So it's just up to you. If you're getting an album in your package, if it is included, if you've asked question 4, you want to make sure you know the steps to take in order to get that album, just to make sure you're happy with those steps. So yeah, question 7. Can you help us with X? So again, probably a little bit of a weird question, but photographers have been to lots of weddings. If there is anything you're unsure of or anything they can help you with, they are usually more than happy to help. So it pays to ask the question. And, you know, that question could be as simple as, do you know a good florist? You know, we've usually got recommended supplier lists, and we can give you, you know, contacts we've worked with who we know have done a great job, who we know can do a great job for your day. And they come safe in the knowledge that we've worked with them before. So that can be really useful and can save you loads of time on Google. So that's a really good one. Okay, question 8 is a bit of a dreaded question. Are there any hidden costs? Not hidden costs, that's the wrong word. Are there any extra costs? Okay, so, you know, like when you've gone online to buy something and you get to the checkout and it's, oh, we need to add that on for that, or we need to add import taxes, or some other fee that you didn't know was included when you started the buying process. It's extremely frustrating, and yeah, I hate that. So I would always just make sure that you know the amount you're paying is the amount you're paying, because it can sting when you find out that there's a bit more to pay, if there is a bit more to pay. For me personally, because I know that I don't like that, all my prices are flat fees. They are what they are, and if there is anything extra you want to add to them, again, it's a flat fee. There's no additional costs to what you see. There's no added VAT at the end or anything like that. Okay, so question 9 is, how do we book? Now, a booking process shouldn't be overcomplicated. It should hopefully be quite simple. And again, it should include that contract. And yeah, so you want to know their you know, the rules, I guess, that they have. Rules, their terms and conditions, whatever. But yeah, so some will have, you know, like this amount is required to put down your date, blah, blah, blah. For example, that might help if I give an example. I send you to an online client portal where you'll have all of your documents stored. That includes your contract and your invoice. And all I need from you to secure your booking is your contract signed and a 25% booking fee of whatever the cost of your package is. Now, you could book a smaller package, pay the 25%, and then upgrade at a later date. That's a way of making it flexible. But again, yeah, everybody's got a slightly different rule to this. So it's just worth making sure that you are fully aware of what those booking rules are in order for you to make that booking, if you're feeling good enough that this photographer is the right one for your wedding. Okay, so the final question, and probably the most exciting question, in all honesty, because These aren't the most exciting questions you might want to ask your photographer, but they are the most crucial. But yeah, number 10, more exciting, is why do you photograph weddings? So this gives you a chance to connect a little bit more with your photographer. It gives you a chance to get to know them, to find out what motivates them, why they tick, and why they're shooting weddings. Is it because they love capturing love in a natural, relaxed way? Or is it because they've been storytellers all their life and they really want to tell your story? Is it because they just love photography and want to create really creative, artistic moments of weddings? That influences a photographer's style as well. So it's really worth knowing what makes your photographer tick. And if you can gel with that and you get on with that, you'll know that on the day, it's going to be awesome. You're going to get on really, really well, and it's going to make the pictures even better. So, to sum up, my 10 crucial questions to ask a wedding photographer are: 1, do you have insurance? 2, what happens if you're ill on the day? 3, do we need to sign a contract? 4, what's included? 5, how long does it take to receive our photos? 6, how does the album design process work? 7, can you help us with X? 8, are there any extra costs? 9, how do we book? And 10, why do you photograph weddings? So they're all really good questions, and you really should ask them because, as I say, it's going to help you get to know that person, and that's going to inform you better as to whether or not they're going to fit into your day. Because that person will be spending pretty much most of the day following you around with a camera. So you've got to make sure you get on. For me, that's part and parcel. That's why I always meet my couples, because I really, really feel like they should get to know me. So I hope you found that helpful. Let me know if it was, and let me know if you're going to ask your photographer these questions. All right, I'm Lindsay at LNZPHOTO. Bye.